Hey, you. I'm talking to you. No, not you. The real you. I know you're trying to say who the hell is the real you, but I'm gonna tell you who the real you is. And we finally got a date for Microsoft's business development conference or whatever that thing is, I guess. And Nintendo's Direct. This is crazy. All in 1 week, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of different things and a countdown for what we expect. Peace and blessings, and welcome to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. Today's going to be a crazy day because we're going to talk about stuff that is very, very important going forward. Oh, you see my friend? I want y'all to say hello to the Super Skrull. Yeah, I know, he doesn't look like the MCU Super Skrull. And the members will get a chance to know who he is. So if you're a member, have no fear. You understand who he is later. But I like you like, follow, and subscribe. Hit that notification button. Because today is going to be very, very interesting. So a lot of times, companies want to get into your buying habits, your location, who you're around, your whole ecosystem, but they want to do it in an invasive way. And very early on, Microsoft, gave you the Connect, and people thought that, oh my God, Microsoft is always watching, Microsoft is always listening, Microsoft. And that was the fears early on. Not knowing that Google was doing it, Amazon definitely does it, and Microsoft was doing it to an extent through your email. All right. So through your email, through your phones, they can track your location, your buying habits, your shopping habits and stuff like that. And look at the trends, what you do for entertainment. Right. And that's a big part of the digital identity, your digital self. But also what is a big part of your digital self is the last generation. The last generation is when you formed your digital identity. Now, Microsoft was trying to have you form your digital identity beforehand, right? If you notice, through the 360, Microsoft was trying to lock you into the ecosystem with Xbox Online and having you share your community. And they were gearing up to your digital self. Meta, for a long time, was trying to figure out how they can get Facebook to turn into the metaverse where your digital self can be there. NFTs tried to sell you on the idea that your digital self needs digital items in order to be the best digital self it could be. Everybody's been trying to sell you on your digital identity. The movie Ready Player One. And we see remnants of those aspects now with Apple's Vision Pro. But getting back to video games, getting back to your digital entertainment identity. The last generation was the most costly generation for either one of the combatants, which was Microsoft and Sony. Respectively, they have divisions of gaming inside their companies. Xbox brand and PlayStation brand. And Microsoft was poised to win the digital arena. Until Don Matrick destroyed those hopes. Xbox, with its mixed messaging, TV, they didn't have any games. They had to connect in a box. Fear and loathing was stoked into the whole identity of the Xbox. They had a superior lineup. The Kinect was something that if it, because the Kinect 1 took off, if the Kinect 2 takes off, then it's boom. Key aspects of it hurt the messaging. DRM, always online. You always had to check in. People fearful of that. And what the media did was they started stoking those fears. If you see like the media does now, they stoke fears, right? Because they knew, like we knew, that was the most important generation. So what happened? Don messed up. PlayStation capitalized and captured a large fan base from the 360 era. And that translated into a PlayStation victory for the PlayStation 4. But it did way more than that. What it did was build your digital self. Now, everybody knows this is Xbox Frontline News. So, the brand itself is Xbox centric because my digital self is Xbox. I have more than 1,000 games on my digital self inside my Xbox ecosystem. And what I did was I took a stock of this and I went to my PlayStation ecosystem. I probably have 3 to 4 titles that are digital. Everything else is physical. And with you having physical, you have no worries or no cares in leaving the medium. You could just walk away at any time. But when you're digitally tied to something, that's sort of impossible. That's why crossplay was so big. Cross progression is even bigger. Right? So, your digital life forms where you are most likely to stay. It's very rare that you will have somebody so heavily invested digitally in an ecosystem that they leave. Guess who knows this? Every last one of these companies. Nintendo started focusing heavily on making sure that their digital store was both friendly, understanding, and accessible. Sony did many different things to ensure that your digital life was easy, accessible, and readily available. Microsoft did the same. What you've noticed from last generation to this generation was that those that were already established in one ecosystem never transferred over. Or if they did, they transferred over with a caveat. They kept their digital self and just made a shadow self with a separate console, which they don't game on much, but they game on at some point. That would be myself. I have very different digital selves. I have a Steam digital self. I have a Nintendo digital self. I have a Sony digital self, an Xbox digital self. I have a digital self in my mobile. Those things are all separate, but yet the same. But the one I game on the most, the one that gets my dollars without a second thought, is the Xbox ecosystem. The reason why that ecosystem wasn't growing was because people were digitally tied to their old self in their old ecosystem. These things formulate plans and ideas for companies. Unless you're a newborn baby with no digital footprint, you're more likely to stay exactly where you are. This is reasons why that the PlayStation 5's fan base is most likely to reach the same number as the PlayStation 4, give or take 5 to 10 million more. The same thing with the Xbox. They are most likely to equal and slightly exceed the Xbox One's digital footprint. I want to give you some clarity because the next topic, after talking about your digital self, is going to explain what we should be seeing in this Business Weekly from Microsoft and what we should expect. Next topic is going to be crazy because we waited for this. February 15th. Eastern, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the only time I care about. Not saying that I don't care about CT time or PT time, but I'm on ET time. Extraterrestrial time. Corny. Anyway, that's the Xbox business meeting direct thing. And everybody thinks it's like a podcast. It's not a damn podcast, bro. It's them showing you whatever direction they're going to go in. Now, you port begging ponies honestly think that it's going to be curtains for Xbox. You port begging ponies honestly think Microsoft is getting out of the hardware business. Oh, they're going to go full third party. They're not going to have any hardware. You got to be dumb in the head. If you listen to what I said in the previous topic, then you will understand this topic is very, very important. They're going to reassure us that don't worry, your digital self is secure. Your digital life is secure. You don't have to worry about your digital self disappearing. Or your physical self. They will have hardware. You already heard rumblings of a handheld device from both companies. So you will believe that there'll be a PlayStation 6, but there won't be an Xbox. You'll believe that there'll be a PlayStation handheld, but won't be an Xbox handheld. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know how we play over here. And I told you why it won't be one. But you're hard-headed and you don't get it. You want to think with your heart, your little mustard heart, because what I say hurts your feelings. You don't think and say, well, maybe he might be right. I don't care what's in development. They told you, PlayStation themselves said they were going to take as long as possible to manufacture the best hardware that they could. If the PlayStation 5 Pro comes out, their feet are stuck in the sand. And they will support that hardware. They won't abandon it. They will support that hardware with titles for this generation, while Xbox in 2026 will launch the new generation to garner more. Now, what I expect from this business expose. One thing, I knew it wasn't going to be on Wednesday. That was definitely an out. So the only days that we had was Monday, Tuesday. Didn't think it would be Monday, Thursday, Friday. So I thought it would be Wednesday, Thursday, until I saw that Wednesday was Valentine's Day. It's taboo. You're not going to put it on Valentine's Day. All right. And it's numbers. It's astrology that goes into it. And trust me, I can go into a whole diatribe of what exactly that means and all that other stuff. Just rest assured they was not going to do it that day. All right, so Monday, Tuesday's done. Now, remember, I told you good news is always on Monday. Bad news is always on a Friday. The closer you get to the end of the week, the worse the news is. For me, that's my opinion of it. That's what I've noticed. That's what I've extrapolated from different avenues to come up with that conclusion. Now, somebody pointed out, shout out to Sinjitsu Sage, that the last direct was on a Thursday. For me, it was good news. For some other people, it wasn't all that. So it was kind of lukewarm, right? We hate lukewarm over here. That means you're neutral. It's disgusting. Can't stand neutral. Pick a side. All right, so Microsoft is doing this with the hopes of explaining what their direction is. You have acquired a $70 billion company, which is the largest and has the largest IP next to Grand Theft Auto and John Madden. I gotta say, I don't know, John Madden probably lost a lot of his luster. They don't even call it John Madden no more, Madden, because they didn't want to pay Madden his royalties after he passed. You suckers. I wonder if he still gets royalties. I hope he does. I hope his estate does. It was built on his back. Enough of that. Anyway, they have the biggest IPs. Call of Duties, which is crazy. They have Diablo. They have a lot of titles. World of Warcraft. All these other stuff. There's a lot of moving parts. See, something is crazy in theory. In theory, you can do a whole bunch of things. In theory, you can say what you're going to do before you do it and all this other stuff. How many times have you had an opportunity to do something? You said it before. If I hit the lotto, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Then you actually hit the lotto and you just do X and Z. Because in actuality, compared to theoretical, it's different. Cash in hand makes a different plan. Always. So now that they have them, there's different things. They sign contracts with people. They told people and assured them that they would not do certain things. They would not exclude. And then they got the financials of Call of Duty. I want Kong dead. Don't ever get this twisted. The fanboy in me wants them eliminated. The reason why I want Kong dead, and it really has absolutely nothing to do with Sony itself or the PlayStation itself, fine, has everything to do with you port begging ponies. You toxic suckers. Y'all can never be real. Y'all liars. Y'all represent rats. Yeah, it's just the audacity of you guys to act like y'all superior where y'all are actually worse. And it's crazy. Before, Xbox didn't have any games. Before, we don't want Xbox games. Remember, Xbox games are trash. And then we want games because you have none. Pathetic, port begging ponies. You guys will be the most invested on Thursday. Nothing's going to change for the Xbox ecosystem as far as us goes, the fans. Because, let me explain. Do you stop me from when I'm playing any PlayStation game? No. Does it take anything away from you when I boot up God of War or Ghost of Tsushima? No, it doesn't. Please, you wouldn't even give a damn that I'm playing. It's this thing. Our digital selves, when we made, and I was trying to figure out when it happened. When did we divide? When did we really take a side? When your digital identity became locked to an ecosystem. That's when it became blood, sweat, and tears. That's when it became you versus them. The moment that happened, the moment that your credit card got locked in, the moment that you continue to purchase over 20-something games, you're already in, you're already invested. Microsoft knows this. So what do I expect from this business meeting? First of all, I expect Game Pass to change structurally. The fundamentals of Game Pass is going to change. It's going to change in a way that if you're gaming at ultimate level, you're pretty much fine. If you're gaming at core, I expect day and date to leave you. That sucks. I expect you to get it later on at a later date. I expect the way that they put Game Pass on other devices is going to be like a curated Game Pass. Like, remember PlayStation 5 Essentials that was on the PlayStation 5? And they, for some reason, I think they took that away or something weird. I expect something like that. Game Pass Essentials. And you purchase into the ecosystem for something like, what, $9.99 a month. And you get a chance to play Xbox games, the curated versions, whatever those may be. I expect it on Nintendo Switch as well. Or they can go into a totally different direction and just go with live service games. You pay for them, you buy them, you get in, and they want your bread. But my opinion of it is Game Pass is the actual vehicle. Game Pass is the actual brand. I think they're going to drop the name Xbox off of Game Pass and have just Game Pass, not Microsoft Game Pass, but Game Pass. And probably Microsoft Game Pass in the fine print, right? Because I believe that PlayStation and Nintendo would allow Game Pass on the device, but not Xbox Game Pass. It's just a branding issue. It's just a process. It's an image, right? And it'll probably change colors. On PlayStation, it'll probably be blue. And on Nintendo, it'll probably be red. I don't know. But I don't expect anything crazy. I expect them to come out and explain that direction. Explain why Call of Duty isn't in Game Pass day and date. Because they make a boatload of bread. Yes, I would love for it to be date and date. And if that actually happens, that effectively crushes the PlayStation fan base. But does it really? Because you was going to buy Call of Duty anyway. So why would it deter you from continuing to support the game that you've been playing for forever? Why? Because I get a chance to play it? That is debunked. Because MLB The Show, a Sony first-party title, launches day and date inside Game Pass, and it doesn't have any effect on the PlayStation's MLB The Show. There are people that aren't fanboys. There are people that don't even play video games that are deciding on these matters. So they're thinking logically and clearly, without emotionalities tied to this. Now, don't get it twisted. I don't want you pathetic pork begging ponies to get anything. I want you to get Popeye's biscuits. But Kong, he paid like he weigh. That's a big boy. So that money is definitely worth it. Slide that cash this way. Remember, you asked for it. And all that, oh, Microsoft is going third party. Bro, they've been third party. You've been playing Minecraft lately? Just think about it. Stop being stupid. You got Call of Duty. Microsoft. You got Diablo. Microsoft. Stop it. You're already down with the green team. Hashtag no PlayStation 6 because I understand how it works. You're not coming out before the Xbox. The Xbox is going to shoot out the door before you guys. And you're going to come out 2 years later? Kiss yourself goodbye. You're done. This is how you play big boy sports. Somebody is more versatile and have more money than you. They ain't got to kill you straight away. They could just let you bleed out and take your fan base little by little. Last topic. Like, follow, subscribe. Now this one is for my little red cap wearers, my Mario brothers. I don't know why Nintendo to me is so non-threatening. I don't know. I guess it's because Nintendo formulated a lot of smiles in my youth. It was because probably Nintendo is the reason why we're gaming on our televisions to this day, because Atari killed us and Nintendo brought us back. Nintendo resuscitated life into us gamers. If you didn't know, man, if you started gaming just a couple of years ago or stuff like that, it was really bleak back in the days. I gamed from the initial, from the arcade to the home base to the handhelds to when Atari crashed it. I was down with Atari, ColecoVision, and television, everything. I did everything. And then the crash happened. And then, we started drifting, started doing different things. And then I saw the Nintendo Famicom. It blew my mind in such a manner that I had to get it. I think I spent something like $500 because it was a Japanese import version. The American version wasn't coming out for a year later. And I thought the Japanese import version was incredible. We didn't know what the American shell would look like. We thought it would look the same. No, it was disgusting looking compared to the Japanese one. The Japanese one was sleek like a little spaceship. The American one was bulbous, big, blocky, purple, and this weird shade of gray, the Super Nintendo I'm talking about. And then the regular Famicom was cool, but Nintendo, they did their thing for us. So with this Direct that's coming up, rumored Direct, that this would be crazy if it dropped on Valentine's Day, right? It'd be nuts. But does it drop on Thursday with Microsoft Business thingy? Because for some reason I think those two are linked. Anybody remember when Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer, first of his name, the young squabbler, the one that trust me, 10 toes down in those meetings. Anybody remember when he had a Switch on the shelf? Everything that's been on his shelf has came to fruition. Anybody remember when he had that Kojima statue? Bingo. Some things take different amounts of time. Everybody thought, oh, the 10-year deal with Nintendo Switch, that was it. Nah, I don't think so. I think he gave them Call of Duty in order to do something else. Do you know what Call of Duty does to the Nintendo fan base? It broadens it to a wider audience because they haven't had Call of Duty on their box in God knows how long. So that level of dedication with Sarah Bond over there in the land of the rising sun, Queen Sarah Bond, doing their thing and the shoot 'em at booty outside, getting stuff done. I think those things with Nintendo lends to a bigger partnership. Something else is happening. Something else is brewing. Something else will be announced. I think Microsoft will announce on the Direct about the Hi-Fi Rush stuff, maybe about the Sea of Thieves stuff, maybe about Grounded. It's these titles that Microsoft does have and they do possess that can actually get on that Switch 2, if not Switch 1 in a streaming capacity. What if they put a curated Game Pass on top of the Switch ecosystem with streaming? We all know that the Switch is capable of streaming with no problems. I did Resident Evil on it, so I know. I think this Direct is going to be more telling in the direction that Nintendo's going. Nintendo doesn't want to be left out of the digital conversation. Nintendo actually wants a footprint inside the digital household. So in order to do so, why not go with those who are making moves in that digital situation? Remember, Microsoft is in acquisition season. Microsoft is going to acquire more while showing the diversity in their portfolio and allowing games to be on other platforms, so the FTC and the CMA and all these other alphabet bodies can get off their back. Now, that's not going to stop the media for trying to destroy whatever Microsoft is doing. It's not going to stop the port begging ponies for continuing to be as toxic as they possibly can in order to try to halt the progress of Microsoft, which will not happen. As you can see, y'all told me that deal with ABK was not going to be done, that it was dead in the water. And I told you, shout out, hold the line. Told you go do that. Yo, right now, third party Before Dishonor is inside stores. It's in the Teespring store. Third party Before Dishonor is in the Teespring stores. I'm going to put the link up. Before we disrespect ourselves over here, we'll slide stuff over to you guys. Y'all don't understand the science behind everything, but you're getting to understand it. Nintendo Direct is going to have something that's going to make you look at it and say, wow, I think they got a Pokemon something ready to go at Power World. I think you're going to get some Pokemon something, because they ain't going to take that punch in the mouth and don't retaliate. Nintendo has never been a sucker. Nintendo will always show up to the fight. I think these directs and these business weekly meetings, whatever the hell that thing is called, the business expose, Xbox business, weirdos. I think those two is linked in some form or fashion. Don't think everything isn't calculated to the last extent. Don't think so. And don't think that everything just happens because a couple of people decided to move the needle. Now, understand those that the movers and shakers were in the building moving and shaking. All right. And Nintendo has some stuff. That Direct has some stuff. And that Direct has something to do with Microsoft. I believe so. Microsoft went. Sony went. Now it's a Nintendo shot at it. Put down in the comments what you think Nintendo's going to do. But this is the part in the video when I'm going to tell you to try to play the Game Pass on Nintendo Switch.